Yeah, in this session, what we want to discuss is issues pertaining to business ideas. What kind of business ideas can you be able to put forward? And I think one thing we should be able to appreciate, I think which also are discussed in the part one of the business idea, is to say um, when you want to start a business, you don't have to use borrowed funds. Yeah, that's what is very, very, very important, because when you are starting a business, there are a number of things that you need to undertake. For example, setting up the rooms, buying of equipment, renting the premises. You might need to pay maybe for 2 months or 3 months, 4 months, just to secure the place. And also you might need to have employees, but maybe the sales may not be moving at that startup stage, and you might find that you have to pay them maybe from your pocket, for example. But if you are using borrowed funds, it means you're eating up part of your capital, which was supposed to be part of the investment. And in that regard, you might find there is always challenges. So what is important for you to appreciate is that for a startup business, we encourage to say, unless if you have got some reliable income somewhere, yeah, because at the end of the day, as I said in the first session, you might have challenges to save such kind of a loan, for example, because you cannot use the same money that you are getting from the business for servicing the loans unless you are sure that the business is fast moving, and also the suppliers will be able to pay you on time. At the same time, you're also having a considerable amount of profit at the end of the day. But uh, it's a win-lose situation, yeah. And most of the businesses, it has been shown that they close up once they have just established them. Most businesses, they tend to close up at the starting level, the infant stage, and you might find that maybe when they have clocked 2 years, 3 years, now they might take off and be able to grow. But it takes time for a business to catch up, and also to ensure that you have the market. And sometimes a lot of people that we may do mistakes, we find that because I was working for company X and I've started my own business, we think to say the customers that we have for company X, because we are servicing them better, all those customers will come to you. It doesn't work like that, because that's why you find sometimes people have left the organization X and they're working for that organization, and now they are calling their former clients for that organization to say, I should come now to me because I've left that organization. No, it could be that they are not coming to you as a person, but they were looking at the brand or the services that they were getting from that particular provider. It's not like maybe you are better off than the other people, but it could be that the way that company was organizing itself, and they can still maintain the businesses, that place or that particular entity, so they can still continue doing business with that particular one. So you might be frustrated not now seeing that most of the customers whom you thought might be coming to you are no longer coming to you. And some, I think these are one of the important things that you should be able to appreciate when you are conducting any kind of business. So startups is a big challenge, yeah, but we don't have to fail to start, but at least we should have another source of income for our sustainability and not rely much on the business as we are starting up. So some of the businesses that I wanted to discuss in this session, one is retail business. I think in the first session we discussed issues pertaining to the clothing business, cosmetics, issues of cars. We looked at the milling machines, maybe the maize mill, and also the hardware. And today we want now to look at issues pertaining to retail business. So when we talk about retail business, what is important for us? I think I also explained this is another session which also I'm discussing the same, and in regarding retail business, whether it's a wholesale, it's a hawker, a supermarket or a grocery, whatever kind of retail business that you are thinking of. Even hardware, when you talk about it as you can look at it as a retail business, but I'm focusing much on issues related to groceries and also supermarkets and all that, because within there you should be able to understand what kind of products should I have in this particular business? And I think in the first session I was talking about top lines, could be 50, 20. These are items that shouldn't run out of the business. You should be able to understand the substitutes. What kind of substitutes should I keep in this particular business? For example, if someone is looking for margarine, for example, so if margarine is not there, you should be able to get the peanut butter, for example. Yeah, so if those are substitutes. Complement, if someone is looking for bread, for example, should be able to get the margarine. So that's a complement. So because someone is looking for bread, can also end up buying margarine. Or someone is looking for margarine and margarine is not there, will go for peanut butter. Those are substitutes. The other one is a complement. So you should be able to know the product ranges of the, and also chemical composition of the different products that are there, so that you're able to convince a customer to say, oh, no, in the absence of this, you can still get this, because this one has also the same things that are in this particular product. So this is one of some of the key things that we should also be mindful whenever we are doing a business. And also at the same time, we should also be able to know how to display the items. Do we have enough capital, for example, to open a supermarket? A supermarket might need maybe CCTVs, for example, because people will be going around in the shop and also picking items for themselves. Some can steal in the process. So maybe if you don't have cameras, it might be difficult for you to run such kind of a business, because there could be a lot of privilege, theft will be happening at a higher rate. So what is important for you to appreciate is to understand, to say, do you have enough capital, for example, to put up cameras? Maybe if you don't have, maybe you can think of a grocery setup where you can have a counter, and the customers will be on one side, and yourself as a salesman or salespeople will be on the other side. Yeah, you might go in town, for example, most of the Indian shops, you might find hardwares. Most of them, they don't have a wholesales. They might not have, like, people have to pick the items themselves. They have to be given, and they have covered everything with wires and all. Even in our hawkers, you go around, you are like, where will the product come out of here? So it's also very, very important for you to appreciate that. And you should be able to know which items are fast moving, so that you should be able to having them in huge quantities, and also which are slow moving, which items are very variable. For example, you go to, for example, spirits, you can have like Black Label. It's more expensive, maybe compared to margarine. So where you keep the Black Label should be at a safer place, because if one steals that bottle, it means he has stolen a lot of money from the shop. So these are some of the things that you should be able to learn before you think of going into the retail business. Product knowledge, very important. Another business that you can also do is to wood and timber, for example. You can be selling poles, for example, for construction, and also maybe for roofing and all that, and also timber, you can wood, you can have different kind of wood. For example, you should be able to know the different products that are from wood. For example, 2x6, 2x3, 2x2, 2x8. All these things you should be able to understand them. And also at the same time, what is also important for you is also to know how the use of each and every type of tabwa or wood that you want to be keeping within your premises, for example. But also, do you have a machine that is going to cut into the different sizes that customers are looking for? Or maybe at nearby, do you have someone who is in that business of cutting this kind of wood into different sizes, for example? So this is another important thing that you should also be mindful. And also at the same time, apart from just selling the wood, you might be, or the poles, you might also be thinking of to say, what other complements products that can also be going with the wood. So you can think of issues like the nails, for example. You can be able to sell there, which is also Sorijnam. You can be able to sell there Sorijnam, and among other things. There are so many products that are related to the wood, for example. So you might need to be thinking those lines, and also at the same time, maybe you can have in a shop next by selling iron sheets and all that. Maybe the brick force wires and all that. So because these are related to construction, so I might be thinking of to say these are some of the products that I can be keeping within my premises so that people can also buy these products from my shop. And also at the same time, another product that you can also be thinking of to say maybe having kiosks for airtime, for example, selling Airtel Money, TNM Pamba, among other things, even the airtime, yeah, and also SIM cards and all that. But where should you be able to put this? And also, do you have enough resources? Because these things maybe you might not be able to get cash at the end of the month. For example, what are the rates applicable? How much should I pay the people who are managing for me? What are the security things that should be considered before I recruit someone? Because maybe you can run away with money, for example. Yeah. So how what mechanism are you putting in place to ensure that this person, if you're an agent, for example, it doesn't have another agent number that maybe is also she or he is using to do the transactions at that particular point, for example. Yeah, so these are some of the things that you should be thinking. And also, if you think of construction company, for example, you're going to be thinking of construction, which are related to the one I was talking about, selling of food. But you should be able to understand, yeah, how do you prepare the BOQs, for example, yeah, because costing is very, very important. How many bricks will go into this particular building? How many bags of cement will go into this building? Tiles, roofing, ceiling boards, and all that. For me to come up, paint and all that. Oh, anything, plumbing materials, electrical materials. So when you are costing, you are looking at all those things. So you should be someone who is knowledgeable in these things, because some people can just cost something to say, okay, I can build this house at 20 million, at 40 million, but at the end of the day, not even meeting the minimum that they have spent within that particular. And now maybe just a week just after being offered the contract, after starting the project, you might find maybe they are requesting for increase in the price because they underestimated. Yeah, so this is one important thing that you should have an understanding to say, how much laborers do I need? So there's a lot of costing in terms of the labor and the materials that are going to go into that particular. Where are you going to get transportation? All those issues have we factored in? Where are we going to get the sand, the quarry, and also maybe the quarry dust and all that? Yeah, cement blocks and all that. So all these things have to be considered when you are to go. In short, when you are into construction, you should be able to understand the bill of quantities that are needed and how are you going to where are you going to get these items and how much do they cost. And when prices have increased, what is it that you are supposed to do as a contractor, for example? Yeah, so you should have a bit of knowledge and understanding of this, and also should not expect that the payment will be made soon. Maybe payment will have payment terms to say they will not pay you in advance, for example, yeah, but maybe they will pay you after you have done some kind of work, maybe the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So you can also be able to negotiate in terms of the payment periods to say how are they supposed to pay you, for example. Yeah, another business related to the same, you can go into welding and fabrication. Yeah, then nowadays you can go into welding and fabrication and also proceed to aluminium. Yeah, people are selling a lot of aluminium products, windows, doors, and all that. Yeah, so you should also be thinking of those things. How do you, but at the end of the day, be able to understand these kind of products. If I'm to do a window, how many things will go, what is the cost? It's all about costing. How much will go into this? If I'm to do a gate, for example, how much cost to go, how much materials, labor, and all that will go into this, and be able to, how much will be my profit, for example. So what is important for you is to understand that and be able to look at that and to say, okay, this is now how I can be able to arrive. But also, do you have the expertise for aluminium and also the welding, for example? Yeah, the welders, your guys, are they really good in the welding and fabrication, and also maybe in aluminium, working with the profiles and all that. So it's very, very important for you to understand the business. Yeah. Another business you can think of is also having a school, for example. Yeah. So if you're having a school, yeah, what kind of school? Is it a kindergarten? Is it a primary? Is it a secondary? Or is it a university, for example? Yeah. So do you have to operate from a rented premises, or you have to operate from your own premises, for example? You need to look at all that, and also maybe what kind of teachers am I going to get? What kind of salaries should I provide to the teachers, for example, and all that, and what kind of environment should I provide to day 6? You may need day 6 and books and all that, and what kind of activities will be happening at the school. How do I relate to the Minister of Education, for example? What are other state agencies which are there? I have to work with the community members, for example. How do I work with the community members? Do I have a bus service, for example, to pick the students, for example? All these are very, very important, which have to be appreciated and also be able to be used and manage the school. So school is one of the good business that you can do, but it's up to you to decide to say what kind of school am I looking at. Yeah. And also at the same time, you can also have another business of a clinic, for example. But do you have understanding of a clinic? How does it work? Do you understand the different medications? How do you what kind of licenses do you need? Yeah, do you need to meet the medical Council of Malawi? Maybe you need to get a certificate. Do you have the qualified personnel to do that? Do you need to go into partnership with maybe someone who is a medical professional? If you're a medical professional, do you have the basic requirements? Not like everybody comes to the and what you're doing is just malaria test. Yeah. What kind of how unique are you for people to come to you and not to go to other clinics? So are you going to be available 24 hours? Are you going to opening 24 hours? Or maybe how are you going to put nurses? How many nurses? Clinical officers? How many clinical officers? So these are some of the things that should be able to be mindful. What kind of tests will be carrying out? How do you look at issues of costing? How do you cost your services? Yeah. Including medication, for example, consultation, how much should be the consultation, how are the other people faring in terms of the pricing, for example. Yeah, how are the people faring compared to your prices? You look at issues of pharmacy, for example. Yeah, look at pharmacy, what kind of products you are supposed to have in the pharmacy. Do you understand the different medication? Which medications are fast moving? Which medications are slow moving? Because sometimes you can order products, you might find that those are not appealing, yeah, to customers. So you should be able to. You can have paracetamol. Yeah, paracetamol can come in different forms. You could have Panadol. You can have headaches. You can have parapen. All these might have paracetamol, but which one is more appealing to customers, for example? So because at the end of the day, you might find you are keeping a lot of expired drugs. So to avoid that, it's also important for you to understand which drugs are fast moving and be able to establish a business in light of that kind of whether they are fast moving or not. Yeah. So this maybe when they are not fast moving, you can be able to order less. If they are fast moving, you can be able to order more. And also you can think of another business like foodstuffs, selling of foodstuffs. Yeah. Where do I buy the foodstuffs, for example? If you are to we call it agricultural produce. Yeah. Where do I buy? Do I have to go to Nsundwe? Do I have to go to Fumbwe? Yeah, do I have to go to Ekwendeni to order this kind of products, for example? Yeah. How do maybe when the people have just harvested, do I have mechanisms of keeping these kind of products, for example? If I am to disinfect them, to apply chemicals to them, how long am I going to keep them before they are becoming usable for food, for example? Yeah. So what kind of products should I be keeping? Is it maize? Is it the groundnuts? Is it beans? Or what kind of products should I be keeping within the premises? So these are some of the things which are very, very important for you. So you should have a different kind of knowledge of the different products that you can be able to keep within your sales a place. You can have eggs, you can have a number of products you can be selling within your premises. But the first thing you should be able to, maybe rice, for example, but first thing you should be able to appreciate is to say which rice, for example, is fast moving, yeah, and even the pricing. This price I'm buying, can people be able to buy? Because you might find you have bought soya at maybe 1,000 per kg, and they're telling you to say no, soya now is selling at 800 per kg, and now you're like, but I just bought this at 1,000 per kg, because it means you didn't have had knowledge on how these products are selling on the market. So first thing, you have to study the market, how are sales going on the market, and also be able to conclude to say, no, I think I can be able to buy at this price really. Yeah, so these are some of the things which you should be looking at. Yeah, another business you can think of is farming. Yeah, farming. Yeah, you can do it as a business. Yeah, farming, irrigated farming. Yeah, you can do irrigated farming. Yeah, selling tomatoes, cabbages, like Chinese, among other vegetables, carrots, and all that. But at the end of the day, you should be able to look at to say, how is the market like? Which items, what kind of irrigation methods are you going to use? And also, which months these things in abundance, and also which months are these things scarce, because sometimes you might find that maybe you are keeping items in terms of abundance, or maybe you're keeping the items in terms of apparently it's when you are harvesting, you might find that you are not be able to sell, and you might look at to say maybe what has gone in the inputs that have gone into the business and the produce maybe might not tally. You might find that maybe you have spent more, and whatever you are realizing is not much. There are issues of the greenhouses nowadays. How do you do that? And you should be able to understand how do they work and all that, what's the purpose, and also at the same time you should be able to look at that and to say, is it worth the investing? You might invest a lot in that, you might find that the produce is not giving you much, and now you are doing this as a business, you don't have any other source of income. You might find that maybe you're not making any sales. You are almost just spending your money on things which you cannot be able to make a return out of that. So these are some of the important, how do you read the seasons, for example. Yeah, so in farming, yeah, whether it's a land-fed agriculture, then you're going to be able to look at to say, how do I manage the land-fed agriculture? And also maybe during the rainy season you grow the plants, and when you have harvested, you can be able to keep them and also hold them and wait for during the time when maybe the things are scarce. But this could not be the vegetables, for example. This could be maize, beans, and other things, even rice, for example. Yeah, so you just have to, but it requires a lot of supervision, especially when you're applying the inputs, the fertilizers, and all the chemicals. You should have a lot of supervision to ensure that you're able to do. So there are so many businesses that you can do in this country, but what is important, or in this world, but what is important for you is basic understanding, is to understand the different mechanisms that are supposed to be done when you are going to go into business. So you can choose different businesses: a retail business, wood, airtime, construction, welding, school, opening a clinic, having a pharmacy, having a number of businesses, selling foodstuffs, and go into farming. But at the end of the day, be appreciative of to say, do I understand this kind of businesses? You don't have to rely on other people. And also, at the same time, follow your passion. Follow your passion. For example, myself, I cannot go into these other businesses, for example. Yeah. For example, if you go ask me to say, okay, can you go into maybe the businesses of selling vegetables, maybe I may not do, because it's not my passion. Maybe I can go into farming, land-fed farming. Yes, I can go into it, but not irrigated farming, for example, where I'll be selling these other products, for example, like vegetables. I might not be passionate about that, yeah, because I'll be looking at the investment and also maybe the outcome. But I don't have passion for that, yeah. Maybe if you ask me airtime, I might not have passion for that. Maybe construction, I might not have passion for that, but I might have passion maybe for constructing maybe a house and sell, yeah, but not going into construction whereby I'm building some things for people. Yeah, maybe I might be having passion to sell products which are used in construction, for example. Am I not going to the clinic thing, pharmacy? It's not my passion, but I can have passion in retail business, for example. Wood and timber, yeah, maybe I might not have passion. So it's not like each and every, you can just do any business. No, understand your passion. It could be you, your child, or your wife. So your wife, you can be learning a business which she is passionate about, and also yourself, you can be doing a business which you are passionate about. And at the end of the day, do you have your kids, for example? How do you train your kids? Maybe to learn the basics of your business. How do you support your kids so that they understand the businesses that you are into? So that once maybe you are tired or you have retired or maybe you are sick, those people can be able to take care of the business. So I think we have shared a number of businesses today, about 10, 11 of them. Yeah. I know there are so many things that are involved in specific businesses which you can not be able to discuss in other sessions, but what is important for us to understand is to say, do we understand the different businesses that we want to go into? Follow your passion. Thank you.